Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdicus Dave, and today I am joined by all of these wonderful nerds. We had last week off because some of us weren't around out of town at Gen Con, but we're all back together and gathered for some 5e D&D from the strange and warped and twisted mind of Steven Partridge. Maybe not that twisted, but it's been a lot of fun. I'm going to hand it to you so you can kick off Ashes of Ardor.
Okay, so a couple things super quick to set the stage because we did our first session, then we skipped a week. Everybody is playing Nerdarchy subclasses. So you can find all of the subclasses they're playing in the Nerdarchy products. And actually, the Minotaur subclass, the Barbarian subclass that Dave is using, is in an article that you can just read and get it. So that's really cool. And we love some Syrinscape around here.
We're not going to tell you which products, though, so you just have to buy them all.
There'll probably be like a link or a thing, I'm sure. And but yeah, so these are like the homebrew things. It's great. And like I said, we love some Syrinscape. We're trying it take two. Last week didn't work out super well. We'll see. This will be the final test run. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll get it going either way. We love it. So to kick us off and to remind everybody about last session, I'm going to roll a d4, and whoever it lands on is going to be who gets to start us off with a recap. Number 2, that is Doug. Good sir.
Oh, okay. So Desatrikos, the Aslari / Leonin Shaggy Soul Sorcerer, with his companions from the Order of the Green Phoenix? Jade Phoenix, right?
The Jade Lotus.
Jade Lotus. Lotus, that's right. We're going to aid the town of Silver Abbey from the Umber Horde, which is like the sort of magically mutated dark monsters that emerge from beneath the earth, I think. And we were attacked in the night by brigands after our tent had been stolen in a pre-game narrative. And it was a pretty dark and grim start to the world, but we did reach the town, which was in bad shape. And we discovered a vast underground catacombs that predated the town, and discovered some evil there. And I don't want to eat up all the air and the oxygen in the room, so I'll pass it off to Nerdarc's Ted to take it from there.
Hey everyone, I am playing Strawn Graydon, the Circle of Stone Druid, and that aforementioned bandit attack also wound up chasing some of the bandits away as an actual corrupted ogre joined the fray. As we all laid in and did the fun combat and what have you of it, Strawn, being the druid, conjured some allies, a pack of wolves to go and do his thing. And unbeknownst to Ted and thus Strawn, you have an animal that bites into a corrupted creature, and it can become corrupted too. So unbeknownst to me, I wound up adding more evil into the world.
Oops. Strawn is the great multiplier of evil.
So he's a druid. He was just bouncing it out.
He's going to have to, be a little bit more careful about the spells he uses and how, because he definitely did not like that aspect. While I'm a druid and kind of in the middle, I'm on the side of good because we're already losing. So there's a lot more that happened, but I'll toss it over to Robin to let you know what else happened.
So I was mildly distracted for a second there because I have discovered that we have a ton more airheads in the house than I thought we did. That said, I am playing the Dwarven Thought Thief Rogue Cinta. I remember there being like a lot of catacombs and the fire down there being, was it orange or yellow?
It was yellow.
It was yellow. And so if we use green, pardon?
It was wildfire, I think, wasn't it?
Right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And if we use the green flame on it, then it just became green. So the thing that I remember most about last session was going through and turning all the fire green. And then getting to the room with all of the mystical strangeness and our Minotaur friend over here, thinking it was a good idea to eat it. At which I will pass it over to Dave to explain what happened next.
So the most important thing to remember about last week, from Gortham's mage killer, the Black Sheep's perspective, I mean, he doesn't call himself Black Sheep, just the other adventuring parties that used to adventure with them, but they all mysteriously got killed. Often adventures, they have really bad luck. It's not Gortham at all. Yes, I saved the whole party, to be honest with you. We were in this chamber that, he went into the center of it, and the sigil and rune lit up, and evil forces tried to invade him and take him over, but he was saved by his Path of the Spell Eater Minotaur powers, that clearly would have, caused any of the other adventurers to be taken over and turned against the party. At least that's from his perspective anyway. So he fended off these evil forces before we were teleported, far, far away from where our actual goal was, and encountered basically our world being destroyed. Our order seemed to be getting devoured by a giant worm. And from my understanding, it's been a year since then.
Yep, it sure has. So I'm going to start by having everybody roll a d20, and we'll start with the highest.
9.
I'm going to get like a 20 because this roll is going to be super important. 14.
10.
19.
Okay, so Senta, kick us off. In the battle with the crumb spawn that appeared in the middle of your keep, as you saw your comrades fighting valiantly against this giant, writhing, tubular monstrosity, and they were being eaten and thrown and just completely lacerated, how did Senta respond, and what did she do?
I'm going to assume that we were able to get from the room we were in to this place rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I climbed it.
Okay.
Yeah, like we got over there and I was like, oh no, you do not, and climbed the worm and pulled somebody out of it. I was only able to save one person. This hit me very hard. There were many bodies. She is still upset about this to this day. But she did manage to inflict at least a little bit of damage in the rescue process, and yeah, it's a bit of a sore subject. Got a cool scar out of it too.
Okay. What about Gortham?
So, Gortham just kind of helped clear the way to the worm, with his axe and his ability to absorb magic, becoming basically a living shield for the rest of the group to diffuse any of that foul and nasty, corrupting magic and lead it away from the party. And when, there wasn't magic to move aside and move out of the way, he used his axe and let the rest of the party is a little bit more, has a little more finesse and elegance than Gortham do the fine things like saving people and pulling them out.
Okay. And what about Strawn?
So this world is definitely is not fond of spellcasters, and it was just recently that he added to the dangers of the world through his spellcasting. So he opted to be a little bit more reserved in the fight. So it's possible that his damaging spells, aided in other people's kill, but he did not have any kind of strong showing, because he was being more of a support role than a just straight out damage dealer.
Okay. And then lastly, Desatrikos.
I think seeing that one of those 13 sigils that was sort of like containing, or I got the sense it was sort of like a seal over some evil, was one of the pride, and then that immediately happening afterwards, he was sort of like really feeling a connection to Shagos, the member of the pride he identifies with the most. So he summoned all the energy that he could through his belief in the pride and used his most powerful magic to basically all his fur just like grew enormously long and like wrapped around the creature to try and restrain it from like thrashing about and like just try to minimize the damage while his companions fought it off.
Okay, so through a bloody battle, you had Gortham clearing the path for all of you, while Strawn, still reserved, managed to pull people out of the way with vines and use his mysticism to be able to keep people safe and try to do his best to save others. Senta just all out climbed the thing. And as she was dagger climbing up this thing to try to cut it to ribbons, however she or dwarfenly could, I suppose, because she's not a human. You had Desatrikos summoning his very face, what he would consider his soul, to empower his spells and do just that much more critical damage to the creature. And while most of your companions in that keep fell, you did slay the Cromspawn. The ring of mystical energy at the top of the mountain nearby still is there, even 1 year later. It's been a year, and all of you have done your part to try to respond as best you could to what's been going on. In the world outside, these rings have appeared at various locations, usually high in the sky. No one's really sure what happened or what caused them. However, in every location, almost immediately next to it, there was a Cromspawn that awakened, and all were eventually defeated, though some took weeks or one even months. Devastating. The nearby elements, the soldiers, everyone's taken heavy blows in a military sense. You know that these have not had any sort of discrimination about what races they appear beside. They've attacked the normal layfolk as well as mages alike. Everyone has felt the impact of these rings and these Cromspawn and the horrors that they've inflicted. The Umber Horde is rising still more by the day, to the point that even travel between settlements isn't necessarily safe unless you have some degree of combat skill or someone guiding you who does. Senta and Strawn, how did you spend the last year as you now come back to your keep home where you arranged to meet everyone again?
Conscripting like everybody. We don't just need fighters. We need masons for the collateral damage. We need blacksmiths to make weapons. You know, like a lot of people died and those people are going to need to be replaced. And while we can't actually like replace the people, we can replace the work that they were doing. So,
teams that could go out and, essentially bring back any of the dead that have not been corrupted and wandered off. Their arms and armor could be, fixed, repaired, and reused. Maybe it needs to be properly cleaned and what have you. But any who show the slightest inclination in spellcasting ability that could learn to control the green flame. This is the sole thing that is going to cleanse the world. And if we feel that, it's down to possibly only the four of us, or, maybe a handful of others who are out there doing the same kind of thing, we need others to be able to do it so that God forbid, or gods forbid, something happens to us, there is someone else to be able to carry on to teach, even if it's just someone in town that can teach it to others and like stay there so that that person is always safe.
I also want to add that I have been like a frequent appearance in prisons and like at the chopping block offering an alternative to certain death. You know, like it's not the best people that I've been dragging in here because the ones that I can get to say yes are the ones that think they're gonna die anyway. I've also been like making it a point to talk to like street urchins because they hear everything. So like I make sure that they have enough to eat, and in exchange, like let them know that like if they want training and a dry place to sleep, like we've got space and we can train them. And also like, you know, listening to the things that they've heard so that we can better keep track of where these things are cropping up.
Okay.
Rebuild the network, as you know, as you would say.
All right. The two of you go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Uh,
I figured you were going to say that.
I'll take the better of the two of your rolls.
19.
Well,
Okay.
I can't get much better than that. Holy crap! I also rolled a 19. because I
Okay.
rolled a 19.
Solid 19. All right. So you have, we'll say, I'll roll a d20 for that. You have 17 recruits
Woo.
that have actually said yes, or you have otherwise successfully convinced. And these people have jobs ranging from cooks, which are important. You got a laundress who was excommunicated from the dwarves, as you well know about, Senta. You got a blacksmith, which is very important. And you got someone who has the unique talent of being able to care for Dranthers, as your Dranther, Puka, did return to the keep as trained to do so.
Awesome.
Let's go with Desatrikos next. What was Desatrikos doing throughout this year gap?
Sure. So, like I said, he was really kind of like just shocked at how grim things had become, and sort of like fell back onto like traditional Aslari like culture of, you know, being prideful and like, okay, well, we know the better way. So, you know, and like, as I understand the lore and stuff, it's like, you know, they used to sort of like forcefully kind of expand their culture, right? But he's taking a different sort of like, you know, because he really believes like this is a better way. So, you know, he's been spending time like going between settlements and things and just trying to like teach people how they can do things in this, you know, different times when things are much harder, whether it's like working the land or, you know, just being hopeful and stuff like that, and also and trying to keep the green flame stuff sort of on the DL, just because it's like, I think that we'd said that it was sort of like a kind of like not embarrassing, but like a like we effed up kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So like sparingly doing that, but you know, obviously if it's necessary, you bust out the green flame. But just trying to like lift spirits, and you know, maybe ask if somebody needs to go to the next town, like you said, he would be somebody that would like guard them, travel with them.
Okay, make a persuasion roll of your own.
14.
14. You've managed to recruit one other person.
Okay.
And it was actually another Aslari
Oh wow.
who defected from their military.
Ooh, okay.
And as you know, that is seen as blasphemy, which would result in death. And you offered an alternative. So you guys have a big buff Aslari lady that has joined as well.
Whoa.
And lastly, Gortham.
So as they would bring these recruits back, I would try and bully them into going back out on expeditions with him as training. Except for his he believes the best way to train is live action.
Okay, going for like
Against
a Witcher sort of training style.
Yeah, against the hordes of the Umbral.
Okay.
And I probably would not be trying to persuade them. I might be trying to bully them.
Okay. Start with an intimidation check then.
Alrighty.
I find it ironic the Minotaur is bullying people, but we'll go with it.
That is a whopping 13.
13. Okay. So you do manage to take these out on a couple of missions. you lose a total of 15 recruits to these missions.
Oh, my numbers have gotten better.
So we have net 2.
Yes,
We have net 3 people.
you have net 3.
Did the Azlari woman survive?
Yes, she did.
All right, so we've got 3 people.
You
of them
have-
is Larry. We've got the smith, the cook, the laundress, or is it random soldiers? No,
You
we
have the
wouldn't take the
Smith,
Smith
the
out.
laundress, and the Azlari still remaining.
Or would you? Would Gortham be like, I don't care.
Gortha would take anyone that he could convince
Hey.
to go.
The Umber Horde doesn't care if you're doing laundry.
That's right.
Just want to point out that, like,
Good job, Dave.
the people that are, like, actually doing the work back at the keep, like, Senta will strongly advise that you don't take those people out to get slaughtered.
Like the support staff.
We still need them. I don't know how to shoe a horse, do you?
We spent all year getting people, and all that happened was Gortham killed them.
I did not kill them.
The
You
Umber
did.
Horde did.
They were collateral damage.
Yes, technically the monsters he took them out to face killed them.
I'm sure we took a few monsters out with us.
Mhm.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that some of those things, some of those things you killed is fine, but I'm also gonna say that chances are likely that some of the recruits that died are still gonna be out there as corrupted that are gonna come back and bite us in the arse.
Yeah, just most of them.
So you guys find yourselves now. It is a new day. It is a early autumn day in the mountains, and you
Ooh.
find yourselves gathering together for breakfast in the courtyard because your keep is crumbling and there are sections that just were utterly destroyed, one of which was the dining hall. You haven't gotten a mason yet to repair the keep.
Gortham looks a little sheepish when if anyone brings that up. Maybe
Well,
we
we've got a
did get
lovely view of the valley this time of year through that crack in the wall.
You know, it would be
Have to
nice
look at the
to
bright
have
side of things these times.
an actually, properly prepared meal. And I kind of look between Senta and Gortham.
Just resting bitch face.
The laundress, Hilda, brings out her attempt at a morning oatmeal. And it is much more like mush and much less like food. And she just offers each of you this heaping bowl. I tried again today, and I think it's better.
It is really good. You don't even need a spoon.
It is definitely a bit better than it was yesterday, yes.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm so glad. Thank you again. And she sort of brushes her hair back to reveal that her stony eyes are black like Senta's. Though Senta, when you first met her, they were red. Great day to rebuild the order, right? Right?
Just like every other day.
You're
Every
not
day that
going
we're
to
still
take them
here.
out again, are you?
I think it is time to discuss finding another way to handle that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I really prefer to go with you three anyway. I mean, you're the only ones I've ever gone out with, and you've all come back. It's very impressive.
Perhaps we need to find somebody that's skilled at training others. We have this courtyard. It's a big enough space.
Really? I mean, my mama Minotaur, she would be like, look, there's a bear. Go fight it. If you can best the bear, you've been trained well.
Well, what did you do before you fought the bear?
She would just find other things for us to fight. Really, it didn't matter. It was whatever she saw first.
I'll lean over to Gortham and be like, these smaller folk don't have the the fortitude that your kind and mine do. A bear would tear them apart.
How loud was that?
It probably rumbled. I mean, you know, he wasn't trying to be super quiet, but just, you know.
Yeah, Cinta's just gonna give you a look. Just the stare.
I think their customs are just different than ours. Maybe that's it. That's what I've learned over the past year. Their customs are different, so they're not as tough. And maybe, just maybe, I shouldn't take them out on more expeditions yet.
I will spar either one of you right now.
Why?
I think he's talking about the recruits, not you, Senta.
Yeah, well, what he said was smaller folk.
Well, everyone is smaller.
No, I just said smaller folk have different customs. So they learn differently.
We've had this conversation before, even if you don't remember it. When you slaughtered the first squad, we said not to take any more out. And you slaughtered the second squad.
I did no slaughtering. We killed many monsters. Their deaths were glorious.
And they serve no purpose.
They killed monster. Well, some of them became monsters, so it's like a 1-for-1. But you know what? They tried really hard. You should have seen them.
And had we had time to properly school them, they might have been valiant members of the Order.
Wait a minute. Maybe you should have just found better recruits.
We found good recruits. We found those that were willing and able. And you took them out to die.
No, to fight. How else are we going to defeat the evil and drive it back? We cannot just hide behind these walls.
It's those rings we have to do something about. Not like nod over to the whatever the closest distant one is that we can see. We can fight these hordes as long as they come.
No, we need to come up with a plan, because what we've been doing has clearly not worked.
Agreed. We need a better plan.
We need a steward for this place if we're all going to be coming and going.
Well, I'm not going to ask anyone else to join if Gortham is just going to send them out to their deaths.
I don't send them, I go with them. That would be cowardly.
I have a thought. Perhaps, if we were to capture one of these creatures, cage it, and then bring it back to fight in a more controlled manner so that we can take it out if things appear to be going badly.
That's not a bad idea. We could learn quite a bit.
That is quite interesting. My Mama Minotaur always brought me to the threat. But you're saying instead we bring the threat to them in a controlled environment.
Indeed.
But there's no
Genius.
one left to fight. I mean,
There's these three.
Hilda, don't worry about it. You won't have to fight anything.
we've got our smith
Pride willing.
to make weapons and armor. We've got the woman to do the laundry.
Perhaps the close study will give this. What's the blacksmith's name?
Huh?
What does the blacksmith have a name that you?
Yes, the blacksmith's name is Fjord.
Ooh, nice. If you know, Fjord's an excellent smith. If he could see the creature up close, maybe he would be able to, you know, develop weapons or something that were more effective against them. I like this idea a lot, Senta. Maybe the
Gotham's
best one we've had this
tactics.
past year.
Gotham's tactics are not flawed in themselves because those recruits would have died anyway, says Zanya, the muscular as Laurie lady. She wields these
I
two
chuckle.
really big curved swords that she keeps crisscrossed on this
Nice.
pack on her back. I went with him. They would have died quickly anyway, even to just a couple of those Umber Horde creatures.
You have a good judge of a warrior's worth, then?
I do. I was the trainer for the military of the
I
Aslari.
mean, I don't think
Only
we could
way
ask for a
they-
better boon than that. The Pride has given us a trainer.
Why did you stop?
Because, dear one,
The Aslari believe in the pride and in the star maps, and that everyone's destiny is written in the stars. But not all destinies are created equal. You are given what you need as long as you play your part. And if you ever choose to deviate or question, you are re-educated again and again until you are a husk of yourself or dead.
So did you disagree with that in general, or did you disagree with what the stars had in store for you?
I chuckle at that.
I don't know. Maybe both.
It takes a certain amount of wisdom to admit when you don't know a thing.
The same destiny that got those recruits killed is the same one that brought her here at this moment for us to learn that. They played a part. We all do.
Be that as it may, you may disagree with Gorton's methods, but they are efficient. I think that there is a degree of wisdom in what he does, and I think that Senta also holds a degree of wisdom in not throwing too much at the new recruits, considering you need everybody you can spare.
I was going to say I wouldn't consider an 85% fatality rate to be efficient necessarily.
A weed out the week, fast.
Yes, as opposed to leaving them with someone who knows how to train soldiers.
Yes, you should have thought of that plan.
You were adamantly against it the entire time.
Well, you know what they say, hindsight's 20/20.
In all
So is
fairness,
foresight by anyone with a degree of sense. But if we're going to do this plan of sentence, perhaps getting some information from the land might be useful.
Steven.
Let me ask this question of you, Stephen.
yes.
The spell conjure animals.
Mm-hmm.
Would I, would I be able to call forth wolves, send them out into the landscape, and have them report back if there is something within the vicinity?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Robin, you had a question too, right?
I did. If we can change the color of wildfire with the green flame that we can use, could we do that with something like alchemist's fire as well?
Make an Arcana roll.
Can I still make it if I'm not proficient in Arcana?
Yes.
10.
10. You know that you can for like brief periods up to maybe a minute if you're concentrating. But when it comes to wildfire comes in one of what you know to be 6 different colors. There's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. And each one means something different. You don't know what that is exactly. But when it is affected by a type of magic that would affect it with a different color, it changes to that color.
Okay. So it's already magical, and that's why it takes it so easily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if we were to possibly find an alchemist, perhaps they might be able to find a better way or a longer lasting way of doing so, or possibly even have a non-magical way of dealing with these creatures.
Perhaps.
All right, so I'll conjure a pack of wolves, send them all in different directions, telling them to use stealth to scout, and if they are able to find any umbral creatures, to come back and give one bark.
Okay. So how does this look for you, calling the wolves?
So when I usually do it, they come. I Like I give a howl and they come out of the nearest natural foliage that would be there.
Okay. So with you guys being up in the snowy mountains, you see Strawn unleash this howl. And when he does, you see wolves just come from around corners of your keep, or one comes up from a cave in the distance and starts approaching.
I get all fuzzed up.
And you order them to go and search out for unnatural creatures, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right. They will go and do that. And you can go ahead and roll a d20 for each one. This is going to be a survival roll to track something. So they would have advantage if they get advantage on perception checks.
All right, so I don't think wolves are exactly proficient in survival. Die, 18 on the die. Well, that one sucks. That one good. 6. Well, 2 of them are probably dead.
Oh, no.
No, I'm looking up their bonuses. Yeah, they're proficient in perception and stealth. So this is just going to be at a +1. So I have a 7, I have an 8, 13, a 14, a 17, 2 19s, and a dirty 20.
Okay. So you have the 17 and up all return. And most of them are reporting that a cave about 2 miles out seems to have some sort of unnatural creatures. And there's apparently a lot of them.
Well, I will
Close to home.
I will inform the others that, my how long did that take to do? Because the spell lasts an hour.
It probably took right around 40 minutes, so you've got them for 20 minutes.
So I'll just cease the concentration. If it's going to take 20 minutes to walk there, there's no point in keeping them around for no reason.
Okay. So you guys will, are you going to prepare anything before you want to go check this out?
Yeah, if we think we're going to bring something back here, we need something to restrain it with and somewhere to put it here. Is there any sort of, do they have any kind of like cells or dungeon or anything here?
You
That's
do.
not totally, smashed apart.
You do.
Oh.
As you enter the keep and start making your way downstairs to the dungeon, is anyone choosing to go with Desatricos?
No.
Okay, Senta. So as you guys go downstairs,
What do you think about the
make
bones
your
of
way.
this place, Senta? Is it, do you think it's salvageable? I mean, it's got pretty destroyed.
Can I make a stone cunning check?
You can absolutely make a stone cutting check.
That would be 21.
Okay.
I
So-
took expertise in history
Nice.
when we
Oh,
leveled.
wow.
So my bonus is
Okay.
plus 11.
All right.
Nice.
All right. So
You get to use it right for early on.
That's why I came with you. I'm just really excited about
Oh,
this.
really? Wow, cool. That worked out swimmingly.
your dungeon is actually underground and completely intact. It's a rather large stairway that leads to a balcony, and basically it then opens up. You have several freestanding cages that are meant to hold like very large monsters that would fight primarily with melee, things like the ogre you fought, for example. And then you have branching corridors, some that are meant specifically for like humanoids or like human-sized monsters, others that are meant for more bestial monsters, and then some that are meant for the especially magical varieties.
So we are actually very well equipped to be taking these things captive and training people on them.
You
That
are.
was a really excellent idea you had. I mean, I've been out there this whole year, and it's pretty bad. I think people might start to look, to us for at least some hope, and it'd be nice to fix this gloomy place up, give them something to look to.
So my 2 cents is stay the course, capture what we can tonight, and then tomorrow go off looking for a stonemason.
That's a great idea. It looks like we got everything we need here.
Each of you can go ahead and give me an investigation roll if you want to.
Sure. I love rolling dice.
Yeah, because that ominous music doesn't mean anything's going on.
Woo! I rolled a 2, so that means it's a 1.
Okay.
I rolled a 9, so that means it's a 9.
Okay. So Desatrikos, as you are investigating,
You lose all your items.
you notice that you guys haven't been down here much, but it is extremely clean, except for flecks of rust at various points where you have the metal, the bars. Some of the bars are rusted away when you start looking closely. Some of the chains are rusted completely through. And you notice that in general, things look a little bit corroded down here. Senta, with your 9, you see Desatrikos' shadow it was pointing one direction, and now it's pointing another direction.
Does it seem like the light has changed in here?
No, it does not.
Desatrikos,
Yes.
don't be alarmed, but I do believe there's something afoot.
I mean, other than the closer look, it's quite disrepair down here. As I'm sort of just like rattling the bar of a cage.
Keeping an eye on that shadow.
Okay.
Just stay alert.
At one point, you will notice that his shadow goes up along the wall when it would, and then it sort of stays there and lingers very briefly before seeping away into the cracks of the wall.
I tell him that this happened.
That's the trouble. Do you think there's some lingering taint of the chroma spawn here? We haven't had any trouble elsewhere.
The dungeon's haunted. This is just what we need.
The hair on the back of my mane sticks up.
Each of you can make another investigation check if you want. Strawn and Gortham, they're taking an unusually long time just going down to the dungeon real quick to retrieve some
7.
stuff. 7.
6.
6. Okay. Desatrikos, you could have sworn there was light coming from the doorway behind Senta. And now it's just pitch black.
I am going to use my green produce flame to light up, just for light, first of all, because I can't see. But I'll crouch down to Senta and be like, there was a light on in that doorway just a moment ago.
I can't actually hear anything you're saying.
Oh, stage voice. There was a light in that doorway just a moment ago.
Perhaps we should surface and get help before we venture further.
Okay.
That seems wise.
Desatrikos, as you take another step, your foot crunches on glass. And you notice there is a broken glass tube in the corner
I didn't see that before. What was in there?
Likely nothing good.
And Senta, you turn toward the door, and the shadow moves, and you see this brief syrupy sheen. And I need the two of you to roll initiative.
Okay.
I'm having flashbacks.
Oh, it was almost under 14.
26.
26. Okay.
I am good at a select few things.
All right. So, Senta, you're first. As you see this syrupy, shadowy, ooze-like creature starts dripping from this doorway and is currently blocking your path.
Okay, I am probably going to regret having done this, but I'm going to open my mind to this creature invoking cruel intent. Then I'm gonna stab it.
Okay. So, what does that cruel intent do for you?
Okay, so basically, I can use my reaction to impose disadvantage on another creature's attack, or I can use my bonus action to give myself or another creature advantage. Because I'm like hearing the thoughts of the things around me and I know what they're about to do.
Okay.
Cool.
That said, if this thing has a corrosive mind, it's gonna screw me over more than likely. So that's why I said I'm probably going to regret this. So does a 19 hit?
A 19 absolutely hits. Also, just because you are a dwarf and a Jade Lotus member and everything, I'll give you this to you. You know that your silver dagger is usually best for things that are unnatural.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna default to those unless I say otherwise. But
Okay.
that's going to be 6 damage because I'm not hidden, nor are we flanking, so I don't get my sneak attack on this.
Well, did you have advantage on the attack roll?
No.
Did you give it
No.
disadvantage?
No, that's a reaction.
Oh.
So it has to do something first.
Oh.
But like I had to use my bonus action to activate cruel intent.
You have to understand, this thing got a -2 for initiative because I rolled a 1 and it has a -3.
Okay.
So 6 damage, I think is what I said.
Have it make
All
dex
right.
saves. Got it.
6 damage. So your silver blade carves into this
job.
thing, and you notice where you carve into it, this silver almost speckles off like glitter and silvers the wound a little bit to prevent it from closing.
Okay.
And it is now Desatricos' turn.
I think the first thing I would do is, since I had already done that produce flame, is just chuck it at it and say, "Back to the umber with you!" And that is an 18 to hit.
That absolutely hits.
This is just work like produce flame, basically, but it's green.
Mm-hmm.
Green flame! That is 7 points of green flame damage.
7 points. Okay, so you ignite this green flame and throw it. And as you do, you see that the wound, once again, it turns green a little bit, like this sickly green sheen, almost like oil, and it won't close up there. And meanwhile, before it goes, Strawn and Gortham, you hear a commotion going on inside the keep now at this point. And you hear Desatricos shouting with his voice echoing as he summons a green fire.
You had said that, they had been a while, and before I could say, I'm going to go check on them because, we already know that there's tension between Gortham and Strawn to begin with. So like he would be looking for a reason to, go be trailing after them. So he's absolutely headed in that direction.
Gortham, knowing that Strawn has tension between us, we'd shadow him.
Okay.
Just
So
to,
you
just
guys
to irk
hear,
him.
you guys hear the conflict. So go ahead and roll initiative and see if you can slot in before the ooze.
That's a 15.
So 12.
A 15 and a 12. Okay, so Strawn, go ahead and slot yourself in real quick.
So, seeing this actually happening, he would, basically do the same thing that the Strikos did, and he'll call forth the green flame, and if I can get to within 30 feet of the creature, I'll totally chuck the fire at it.
You can absolutely do that.
Chuck it.
This doesn't look good. It's a 13.
A 13. That absolutely hits.
Oh, sweet. That's going to be 10 points of green fiery damage.
10 points. Okay, so you throw this green fire at this creature, and you also see that the fire seems to be burning away at the wound, preventing it from sealing back up in any way. And Gortham.
How far away did you say they were? 30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got to move a 40. So I'm going to rush in with my silver axe. And these things are just made of pure shadow, right? Reckless attacking.
No,
Raging.
it's an ooze.
Oh, it's an ooze.
Oh.
It's an ooze.
Ooh.
Okay, so that's a 24 with my reckless attack.
That hits.
All right, so I will not headbutt the ooze because even Gortham knows that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
You went so far past its armor class, you missed.
Gone around. All right, that's going to be 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. Okay.
And then he just totally, with the momentum, completely does a spin. That brings him right into another swing for a 15 or 19.
Okay.
I should say. I'm probably gonna regret the fact that they're gonna be able to hit me a lot easier now, though. And that
Okay.
is going to be another 10 points of damage.
Another 10 points of damage. Okay. So that is there. Okay, so you actually hack this thing, and when you hack it, your silvered axe splits down it, and it splits it into two. And then you carve again, and it splits it again. So now there's 3 of them. And so now they get 3 actions.
They're multiplying.
And the
At least
first one,
one's between it and us.
first one is going for Senta. That is an 18 on the die plus
I am fairly
5.
sure that hits.
23.
It does.
Okay.
However, I can use my reaction to impose disadvantage.
Are you going to do that?
I am going to do that.
Oh, you are
Okay.
the one that has the cruel intent. You just
So
what
decide-
happens?
You can decide when.
What happens when you do that, Senta?
Well, I feel it start to move, and I am just like, if it doesn't hit me on the second roll, I'm just not in the place it thinks I'm gonna be.
Okay. So you see this inky black pudding slam. I got another 18. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, so like it hits me anyway. Like I moved, but I was still like close enough to the spot that I was in that I get like the reverb off of it and still take damage.
Yep. Senta just flickers for a minute, and she's actually somewhere else, and the thing just splatters, and the splatter catches her. Dealing... What? I'm doing crazy. 22 acid damage.
Oh.
Holy smokes. I rolled 2 8s in that.
I'm alive, it's okay.
That's a lot of damage.
It is a lot of damage. I am bloodied, but no, I'm not bloodied. I am not quite bloodied. I'm almost bloodied.
And you see this black, inky, viscous ichor is eating away at your leather armor and corroding it away.
Gross.
And the next one is going to go for the Minotaur that's in combat with it.
It's got advantage.
Okay, it needed that. That was a 2 and a 3.
So
I
sad.
don't think an 8 hits you. Dang it. Okay. And then the last one is going to go for Gortham as well. So that's a 19 on the die. And another, I keep rolling consistent rolls. This die is broken. I rolled 2 19s.
Don't worry, he'll run out of good rolls sooner or later.
Eventually, yes. That's how rolls always work, right? Okay. 16 acid damage as this creature thwacks at you. And so you actually begin to feel that this creature is innately magical when it hits you, Gortham.
Oh.
Innately. So
You can recover a use of your rage.
I will absolutely do that.
Okay. So you guys watch as this creature once again splatters against Gortham, and when it goes away, you see this yellow smoke sort of leak off of it and into Gortham's tattoos.
You said that was 16 acid damage.
Yes, 16 acid damage.
So sad not to be a bear, a total bear barbarian at this time.
And if you are not wearing any armor, then you're good. But if you are wearing armor, okay. So that is its round, and we are going to go back up to the top. So we're going to go in the order that we went before. So Senta.
Yes. Okay. Well, this time I have my bonus action, so
Okay.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna. Okay, so do I have like friends that are within 5 feet of the thing now?
You do have friends within 5 feet.
Okay,
of the thing.
good. So I'm gonna swipe first and then cunning action.
Okay.
$23 to hit.
23 to hit, absolutely hits.
That will be 15 damage, and then I cunning action hide. Oh, that's an abysmal roll. Cunning action hide for 11.
All right. So that is 15 damage, and you actually outright slay one of these miniature ones. As you just slice clean through it, and you see that instead of splitting apart, it just sort of wilts
Awesome.
and starts burbling on the floor before it just becomes an innate puddle of syrup. Dacitricos.
You said the little one. Is there a big, like a main, larger one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then I am going to. I'm going to use 2 sorcery points to quicken Blade Ward, and you see his fur actually like tightens up and like weaves close together.
Okay.
And then with my action, I am going to produce flame again, and just for visual flair, I'm just going to like dive at the largest one and like that, you know. With the
Okay.
I'm using produce flame. And that is a 18 to hit
That hits.
for 7 points of produce for green flame damage.
7 green flame damage. And this creature actually starts wilting just a little bit as the fire's licking it away. And it is almost dead. We are going to go now to Strawn.
I will, stay at the back. 22 to hit for a massive 3 points of fire damage.
3 points of fire damage.
Are you
Every
doing
little
produce
bit
flame
helps.
too?
Yeah.
It's 2d8 now. We're 6 left.
Yeah, I rolled a 1
Oh,
and a
okay.
2.
Okay, just saying. I'm gonna be a backseat. I was just saying. I had to check
Massive
it.
damage on 2d8. For...
I understand how it works, Doug. I'm just that terrible.
That brings us to Gortham then.
All right. Well, I'm raging, so I won't be using my cantrips. That's for sure.
You can cast your cantrips while raging. That's part of that barbarian.
Yeah, but not the green flame ones, right?
Oh, no, not those. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't think Druidcraft is going to have a lot of effect on them right now.
What's the weather like right now, Gortham?
Fresh. How do you? Yeah, you think they'll fight any worse if they're winter green?
Maybe you never
What's the
know.
weather right now? We need.
Maybe they're allergic to the scent of pine.
I will cut you into as many pieces as necessary. That be a 20, 26.
Woo! Which one do you want? I'm just gonna let you pick because you can't not kill one of them.
Big one.
They're all pieces at this point, right?
There is a
Yeah.
bigger one.
There's a big one and a little one. The little one has more health.
I'll go
than
after the
one.
big one.
Okay. So describe how you utterly destroy this thing.
All right, let's see. Here, I have to roll the damage though. I just got to roll the damage. Let's see. So that is, it's only 27 points of damage, but yeah. So like, I guess what he decided, since slashing it wasn't working very well, he just like takes his axe above his head, and it gets ready to bring it down, and then like has a moment of insight, and he spins the blade to the side and just like splats it with the flat of the blade and hits it. It's like hitting a jello mold. The jello's been out, like it's got sledge-o-matic. I know you young kids don't know what a sledge-o-matic is, but I totally sledge-o-matic it. So when it hits it with the flat of the blade, it just explodes out in all directions. You can even give me damage if you want, as it just sprays.
And this black goop sprays all over all of you, except for Strawn, who's behind everybody. And it is syrupy, it is gross, and now your axe head is coming up, and it's just slurping between the floor and your blade, like when you step in gum.
Yeah.
And there is just a little bitty one left.
Does a 12
and
hit it?
It is going to get a hit off, and it is going to.
I get another attack.
Oh no!
Does a 12 hit it though?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
You only need a 7.
Oh, gee.
All right. So that's only 9 points of damage.
Describe how you kill this thing. Utterly.
Again, he kind of figures out what he was doing wrong. So he goes to like golf swing at it, but he turns his blade at the last minute and scoops it and just flings it into the wall, and it just hits the wall and it just splatters like New Age art.
Okay.
Excellent power.
It splatters, and you guys have defeated a black pudding that escaped from your hold. And Senta, you are safe.
Like stripping off the leather bits that are getting eaten.
Where did that come from?
My guess is, the glass cage over there that's broken.
Oh, yeah, in the heat of the moment, I didn't put that together. Very insightful. Why would they be keeping such things here? What was this? I never came down here in the past.
Had any of us come down to this place while we were just, mere low initiates?
So that once in a while they did do what you guys were suggesting to do with the recruits. When many of you joined, you had to fight a little monster. Usually it was like an undead, like a zombie or something. However, they also would, rumored at least, experiment on these things down here. Trying to appropriate some of their abilities and also trying to figure out ways to maybe defeat them in new and interesting ways that wouldn't require as much manpower or as much blood.
We should find out if they've got notes on any of that stuff.
Records. I don't know how much I like about using their abilities. It seems kind of bad, but yeah, I mean, certainly if there's already existing, research.
Anything that we find that would, lead to their weaknesses and any of that, knowledge of your enemy is always helpful.
I guess we're gonna have to start thinking more like leaders instead of.
Yeah, I'm going to begin writing my own manual.
Probably not a bad idea. And then Senta pauses and just glances sidelong, like she's not entirely sure you know how to write, but she's not gonna say that.
Oh, strong.
Later on, you're gonna stumble upon him with like parchment, and they're gonna be like these stick figure sketches. There will not be any words.
Like of like how to defeat the thing with the flattery blade.
Yeah.
Side of axe versus goop. Good.
Scoop and throw.
Oh, that note was meant to only be to Robin. Oops.
That's okay.
That's all
won't
right.
look.
I
don't
will
know what you're
let
talking
everybody
about,
know
Stephen.
almost immediately because I'm gonna walk over there and like dip in to see what's back there.
So Senta sees that the black jelly that splattered all over the wall is now eating away at the wall, and it seems that there is a tunnel or something behind it.
Cool. Well, I will use my cantrip green flame blade for the only thing I ever really use it for, and I will use it to clean my axe. By igniting
Okay. So just and
Yeah.
all of the black pudding nonsense is gone.
I'll begin just kind of using produce flame to clean the floor.
Okay. So you are using produce flame to clean the floor. And it just sizzles away a lot of that black pudding that was there.
And if at all possible, if I can use crap, where is it? Sorry. Druidcraft to kind of do a puff of wind to push the broken glass towards the glass cage, so like it's at least all collected.
Yeah, easy to do.
Meanwhile, Senta's going and finding a new place for us to investigate.
Senta, you see that this hallway seems to have an actual doorway somewhere else, but you're facing about 20 feet forward down the hallway. It looks like it drops off into some sort of stairway that leads deeper down.
Okay, I will let the others know and then wait for them to be ready to press forward. I'm not sure why we didn't know about this before.
Well, we weren't
We
hired.
were just fresh recruits ourselves.
Look, you guys took some damage in that fight. Do any of you require healing, or do we need to take a respite before we head further down into problems?
That probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
If you need, I mean, it was about a scratch.
I'm fine to go, but I'm seeing
Senta needs
okay.
healing. It took a huge blow there. Like, she's downplaying it, but you can kind of see the, like, burns.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 19, 20 points of healing.
Okay, good. I'm good to go now.
Fjord could probably fix your armor.
Well, that's a problem for a bit later.
He's a blacksmith.
He's a
We need
blacksmith.
leather worker.
He's not a leathersmith.
That's all right. I'll
There's
just
leather strips and there's leather parts.
Some smiths know how to also be armorers, but we don't know what Fjord's capabilities are yet. We'll find out.
I will just take care not to get hit while we're down here.
We're short on recesses. He's gonna have to learn to do more things.
So,
Or I'm
Is he-
taking him out on an expedition.
is the armor actually lessened? Does it take him? Like what is the?
Oh, it does one. It has -1 penalty to the armor class.
Okay, that's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, black puddings, man. They're rough.
Oh, well aware, but just because Ted has knowledge does not mean that the party does.
Is there any other before we actually while we had a few minutes, I'm gonna look around and see, now that I have an idea what I might be looking for. I'm gonna look around and see if there's any other things like that, like containers of living creatures and things like that. Not super in depth. I mean, just take a moment, but just like, because before I was just kind of glancing around. Now it's like I'm looking for that specific sort of stuff.
Make a perception roll or investigation if you'd rather.
I'm better at perception, but I will make investigation. And that is it would have sucked either way, but investigation is 0. If it was perception, it would have been 5. So crappy.
Okay.
I think that was the only danger down here. Except for whatever might lie behind this wall. Does it look like it's like a fake wall that was put there to cover up the hallway? Is it like part of the original? Like there's a wall in the dungeon of single, construction.
You can tell it looks like it's meant to be a secret passage of some
Oh.
sort. And Senta, with her stone cunning, I'll just give this to her. Senta would know that the secret passage is such that the entrance to the passage is actually deeper into the dungeon. So you basically forewent part of your need to find this if you were going to go find it.
Interesting. This place is full of secrets.
And so you guys start going down that hallway. And I need a marching order for this.
I'll lead
Okay.
and be like looking for traps and such on the way.
Who is last?
I will either be second or last. You two can sort out where you want to be, and I'll fill in from there. I'll either be vanguard or just behind Senta.
Well, I'm fairly observant.
Well, then that's perfect. I'll go in the back I'll just keep the produce flame sort of flickering in my hand. It's not a ton of light; it's just 10 feet light, I think.
Okay.
But I don't have dark vision.
Just enough to mark us out. I don't either. So
Yeah, humans.
So really only Senta sees comfortably down here without the light. Strawn, you're at the back then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Make
Oh,
a
you are at the
perception
back
check
then?
for me.
Yeah. I'll take back.
Okay.
How about a 15?
15. Okay. So as you guys are walking down this hallway, you notice that while the main dungeon had like this lumpy sort of cobbling to it, this floor is tiled. It's tiled almost in the way you would imagine like a religious building would be tiled. You see murals covering the walls on either side that are illuminated by this green fire. And as you see it's illuminated by the green fire, there are aspects to the murals that are actually standing out, and it's more or less presenting the history of the Jade Lotus.
Oh, wow.
I am proficient in history. Is there anything that particularly stands out to me?
You see that it talks about the beginning of the order and how they first discovered the Jade Phoenix where you drew your power. And it even covers up until the last darkness is what it's called. And it almost seems like this mural is telling the story in a way that they expected when they killed the Phoenix to actually themselves die. And you know that wasn't true.
Right.
Instead, the Phoenix died and it never came back. And you start walking down these stairs and the story just sort of peters off at that point. You feel these stairs are well made, ornate, even carved with little etchings and details like none of the rest of the castle. The rest of the castle is rather practically designed, but this is special.
It's like sacred geometry and shit.
Is there more space, as if you said the story kind of trails off? Is there more space as it was expected to continue and didn't?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I would point this out to Desatrikos. I don't know how much you would already know or be interested, as he's kind of pointing out the details on the thing, and I was like, it just stops. Like, this is not a complete story.
It looks like from what you're describing that our order made a mistake or something went wrong.
I believe so. Do we think there's
It also seems far older than I ever suspected.
you think there's any way of possibly restoring life to the Jade Phoenix?
Well, I mean, we're still able to summon the flame. It must come from somewhere. So maybe it's trapped somewhere beyond this world.
Would I know enough about the legend of a phoenix and that, they typically do get reborn?
Yeah, that's common knowledge.
yeah.
It's like the world's mad at us because it didn't.
Yeah.
So perhaps you're right. Perhaps it is reborn somewhere else and trapped.
Maybe it was disappointed in us and we failed it, so it did not come back to us.
That's a possibility. We did in a lot of ways. The order did let it and the people down.
Those responsible for that decisions are now gone. It is up to us to make the right decisions.
You're absolutely right, Strahd. Perhaps we'll find some answers down here. Like we're pretty deep. I feel like we're deep below. Wait. So the castle's built on a mountain, so we're like
Yes.
in the mountain right now.
You're going into the mountain, correct? And as you continue going, you
Don't
find
like
that
being
it
this close.
peters off into a platform. And at this platform, there's an enormous mural of the world. Like it's a world map.
Wow.
And you see in the light of your green flame, hidden what Gortham would recognize as runes of sort of sacred geometry nature appear at key points on the world map. And anyone that wants to can make a survival or a history check, and you have disadvantage unless you are proficient in cartographer's tools.
Ooh, nice use of tools.
Well, I'll be doing that at disadvantage.
I'm gonna do a
Oh, that
Wait,
sucks.
oh.
That's a 5 and not a natural 20.
It doesn't even give to try.
Yeah, 11.
I have a 16 in history with disadvantage.
Okay. You recognize that one of these points is the mountain outside your keep. And you recognize at least one other is a location where these rings have appeared.
Is there a ring above our keep?
Yes.
It's above
Oh,
the
it's-
mountain just near your keep, yeah.
Wow.
You guys
I
were
didn't
spit
realize
out by it.
I didn't realize it was like I didn't click in my head that it was like this. So is this some sort of, are they connected? Like, are those highlighted on the map like those places? Or can we figure out, do we know where any of those other rings are? Did they
You
know
can-
that this would happen?
You have a map where they are, but you recognize at least one is a location where a ring is right now. So like you made that connection.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
On the map, are we able to see if there was another ring over top of the Silver Cathedral?
Yes, actually, I'm just going to give it to you. Yes, you can, because you know where that was.
Okay.
You had to navigate there. So yes, there is one above the Silver Cathedral.
Wait a minute. Isn't that where we were and we came out of this one? Can you travel through these rings? I mean, we did travel through these rings,
We did travel through these rings.
but we don't know how we did it.
That's a Tricos, Gortham, or Strawn can all make an Arcana check if you want, or History.
I'm proficient in either, but I'll go with Arcana because he's into that mystical shit.
The dice
5.
have failed me. I rolled an 11.
You did better than I did, Dave. That's a 6. I rolled a 6. That's a 10.
So
11, 10, and what?
5.
5. Okay.
The Umber Horde probably uses these as well.
Well, what you guys can tell for sure is that teleportation magic is definitely something that is officially taught to be impossible by magic, but you would know is just much higher level than is legal or considered even ethical by most religions.
would it have been feasible during that year for me to have tried to get as close as possible to the ring to see if I could feel it?
Sure. When you did, you felt almost like you were being eaten into it. Like it was distorting you and kind of like sucking you towards it.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy.
You know, on one of the expeditions, I did check out the ring. You know these tattoos, right? They're not just for show. They let me absorb magic. And I tried using it on the ring once. I thought maybe if I broke the ring, it would help fix things. But the magic was too strong. And it nearly pulled me apart or through. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Because then we were attacked by things, and then you know what happened then.
Mm-hmm. Can they be changed to repel or attract things? I'm not. Pride knows I know anything about this deep magic.
What about you, Strawn?
I don't know. I mean, I dabble in all kinds of magic, but I'm not really an expert at any one particular kind. I'm pretty certain that these things are not within the realm of natural magic. I mean, it's pretty obvious there.
Is there anything on this map mural that's like not a standard feature on a map? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just like...
You mean aside from the teleportation rings?
Well, we just saw the one. Are they all over there? I mean, can we identify that part of the map elsewhere on the map?
Yeah, you know that these rings are all over the map when you hold your green fire.
But the rings aren't
to it.
on the map, is what I'm saying, right? Like the map isn't showing the ring. We just know that there is a ring.
No, the map is showing the ring.
Oh, it is
Hold
showing.
your green fire up to it.
Oh.
It's like invisible ink to a black light.
Yeah.
So when you hold your green fire up to it, then it illuminates it and it shows what it is. When you pull it away and Senta sees it in the
that's
dark, it's not there anymore.
Oh, neat.
So when this was created, the rings were there, and the rings only appeared.
I think we've been looking at this wrong, Dastrus. It's not that we need to break the rings. The rings are part of the order.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would the flame reveal it?
So they've been taken over, perhaps, then.
I don't know.
So-
Maybe they've been dormant until they were needed.
If this is a kind of way to get from place to place, that is a complete game changer.
What if
Wait, real quick. So the rings haven't done anything, right? Like, it's not like monsters are falling from the sky.
Nope.
That anybody's seen. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I had
Nope,
that.
they've just been there.
Okay, got it.
Right. Steven, in a world where they hate magic users, Strawn is very much connected to a lot of different types of magic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the pre-story, he's drawn magic from the shadows that nearly killed him. I've got, stolen magic from the Fae, and I've even, dabbled in, wizard rituals. Is there anything that, with that information, that he would be able to, gather from, what this map is, or, how it's connected to the things that are going on?
Yes, but give me an Arcana check to see how much.
Sure.
Because there's like a lot of aspects to that question.
What?
So I want to break it down a little bit because you're asking the right question, but also a very detailed question. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just giving from multiple vantage points, Strawn could look at this and I would see if he wasn't proficient in Arcana, it would make sense for me to just be all right, I'm spitballing, but he actually is. He's a student of Arcana and History. That is a 17.
A 17. Okay, so break down your question for me one at a time, please, so I can answer it all effectively.
Sure. So I'm pretty confident that it's not druidic magic being used, right?
It is probably not druidic magic. This is not any magic that's used today. This is something older.
So I am a ritual caster.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I only have the lowest of low spells so far, but I do carry a book of wizard rituals with me. So I don't know if there's any actual rituals that might be involved in something like this.
Okay. So you know that to even cast this sort of old magic ritual would require many mages. It would be extremely dangerous, and based on the rules of the way magic works, it would need a lot of mana, like the raw material, and probably also a lot of blood sacrifice to break the laws of magic like this.
Okay. So
You also can identify some key points that seem a little off about like where these rings are. Like you definitely see one above Dorian, which is the capital city of Voiré to the north.
mhm.
You also see several rings in like different forests and things that are maybe not familiar to you, but would be known to a history buff like maybe Senta with stone cunning as places where there are ruins. But all of these seem to be in a place nearby where there is a settlement or a town or people present.
Even to this day?
Not all to this day.
Okay. But at some point in time.
So you would recognize that much of it. And you do notice that this map is parchment.
Oh,
It's torn in a way that like it was pieced together like a puzzle, right? And the tears actually sort of separate the different rings from each other.
so if you were to take it apart into pieces, there wouldn't be two rings on any one piece.
Right.
So what, has it been stitched back together, or
Yes.
and does it look like it at one point in time was a single piece, or were they all
Mhm.
created and then stitched? Okay.
It was created, torn apart, and then stitched back together.
I wonder if the Order kept these rings hidden. So when the Phoenix died, that's when they were revealed. Maybe they kept this mural separated so no one else would know where these rings were. Because each, they would each only have one piece of, like if they were kept apart.
That is possible.
Why would they, what do they do though? And why would the Order have kept them hidden?
Again, if we could find any records,
Yeah,
anything here, we would be able to.
this seems like quite a find. I mean, it's raising more questions than answers, but it's something.
I'm not entirely sure that the questions are really that much of a problem. When civilizations first start booming, it's because they build roads. If we can just be wherever we want, that's huge.
But we have to learn to control them. Gorslam said that like it felt like it was trying to eat him.
Perhaps the answer to that is down here as well. Was there? Where was there to go from here? I'm kind of just picturing like a kind of like a net, like this is all like enclosed hallways and stuff. Like it's all
Yes.
constructed.
Yep, it's all
Okay.
constructed hallways built
Oh,
out of
okay.
the mountain. And you are on a big platform where you're clearly meant to look at this thing, right?
Yeah, right.
But there is a stairway that goes down still
Ah.
further yet. Or you can go back up the way you came.
I say we go on.
We should continue investigating.
Let's
Should
go
we-
forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys continue on down the hallway and you find yourselves at a huge set of double doors. These double doors have writing on them, and you see that there is a lock on the door that prevents passage.
What is the writing? I want to look at that with my flame again. Is there any like even torches, sconces down here or anything?
There are sconces on the walls as you go.
I mean, does anybody have any objection to having lit them as we go?
Not at
I
all.
mean, there have, yeah, okay.
I am typing out what it says into chat, so you guys have it in chat.
Is it just in common?
Yes. It's actually in multiple languages.
Huh. Oh,
You see a language for every speaking race actually on this door.
Is there 13 languages?
There are.
I don't know, it kind of sounds like Gortham at dinner time.
For the audience, it says, always hungry, never filled, ever growing until it's sealed.
I feel like the answer is right there. Is this a warning or is this a prophecy?
On the
That
actual,
sound ominous.
Oh, absolutely.
Perhaps it is sealing something within. It does say, it mentions a seal on there. I'm just gonna like sort of press my head up against the door and listen to see if I'll start there.
okay.
Is it a solid wooden door? Or does it have like the little slat with the iron bars in it to look through?
It's a stone door,
Stone.
and it has
Stone
no
door.
window.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead, everybody, make an investigation roll.
Okay.
Investigation is not my forte.
14?
7.
14, 7.
12.
That's a dirty 8.
Dirty 8.
We are not the most intelligent party ever.
That's okay.
So,
Sorry.
Senta, you do realize that as you're investigating, and then Strawn, as you're investigating, you guys notice that these pieces of the text actually turn, like physically turn, as though they're loose puzzle pieces.
Ooh.
And mechanically, this is a complicated skill test, but or a complex skill test. But for flavor purposes, it is a physical puzzle.
Oh, cool.
So
each like letter of those phrases can turn, sort of, as an ambition.
No, like key points of the phrases turn, and they can link together.
Does it make so it makes another phrase a different one?
It makes a picture.
Oh, weird. Okay, that's cool.
So everybody can give me another investigation check. You net succeeded that first one.
Okay.
That's bad.
11.
Oh, wait a
16.
minute.
16, 11.
Hold on one second. I think I had some new thing that I got. Where is it? Oh yeah, magical guidance. Well, it's not really a failure, but it's pretty low. I'm gonna guess it's like a 6.
Also an 11.
Can I use my magical guidance? It's when you make an ability check that fails, you can. I don't know if it's a fail. I got a 5. I'm assuming it is. I can spend a point to reroll it, basically.
Sure.
I need you now, Shagos. Hey, it was 1 better, so it's a 6.
All right. So you guys do succeed. So you got your 2 successes that you need out of 3. And so as you are turning these stone slabs, you start seeing this picture form that's like this winding, snaking, serpentine sort of shape that all connects to each other, but in a big, massive ring. It's a messy ring, and it has things inside it, but
it looks like it's. Is this like Cram's symbol that's forming? we be opening this?
Make a religion check.
Yeah, I'm good at that. Well, I'm gonna use my Nerdarchy die.
Anyone can make a religion or investigation roll if they want to. If you are proficient in cartographer supplies, you have advantage.
14.
That is a dirty 20.
16.
Okay. So anyone that got a 16 or better will be able to realize that all of this could theoretically be superimposed onto that map back there. But when you align the last of it, the doors do open and unlock.
Is there any kind of like... Never mind.
So yeah, you just hear this very subtle, like clicking noise. And
Come this
these
far.
metal bars just start rising very gradually into the stone and slotting back up. And so now it's open.
I take a step back. We've come this far.
Do we hear anything from beyond?
Make a perception roll.
15.
15.
12.
Oh, are we all doing it? I'm sorry.
I nat one.
Man. 9.
Well,
Senta's still looking at the poem like, man, this is bad.
yeah.
No, I'm just trying to figure out the riddle.
Zanya is walking up behind you guys. She got a 14.
I don't know if that is a riddle. I think it's just talking about crime. Oh, sorry. What it was, Vanya?
Those of you, Strawn, I think, is the one that succeeded. Strawn, you got a 15, right?
Yeah.
You hear Zanya sort of skulking behind you guys.
I'll just, kind of point to the group and just point in Zanya's direction. Is there a reason why you're coming down here?
Did you find what you were looking for?
Well,
And more.
found these two, and they were getting into some trouble. It's unveiled all kinds of interesting things.
We're like they're down here having fun without us.
I see. Well, surely you've made it this far, so perhaps see what's beyond the doors.
Can I insight check her?
Sure.
Is that a good number or a bad number? That was a bad number. That's not one. That's an 8.
Okay. We do also start with inspiration for what it's worth.
Well, I will go ahead and use it because I don't like the tone that she's using. All right, that's 22.
22. She seems eager. She seems nervous. She seems a bit caught off guard.
I think you just described my own feelings.
But I'm not getting any kind of malice or ill intent.
Oh no, you are getting an air of malice and ill intent.
So I will switch to Dwarven, and I will kind of say to Senta, I'm pretty sure that Gortram understands as well, and we need to keep an eye on Zanya. I'm not certain of her intentions here.
I give a little nod.
Oh.
You guys look over, and I'm super chummy with her because I don't speak Dwarven, and it's a fellow as Larry.
She leans over to you.
Me?
You.
Okay.
And in the Aslari language, whispers, I am here for the glory of the pride. This must be done.
I'm as curious as you, and this does seem far from the light of the pride. Let's be extra cautious, though. I'm unsure what to expect.
Indeed.
I think they're a little unsure as well.
I whisper.
We'll have to be strong for them.
I whisper in Dwarven. Do either of you speak cat?
No.
I'm feeling emboldened. I'm like, well, shall we? And I'll go to move towards opening a door. I'm not, but I'll pause and see if anybody is gonna, object.
No objection. I'm just a little.
And I've got my green flame in my one claw. I'll pull the door.
Okay, so you open the door.
Shagos, be with me.
And as you pull these hefty stone doors open, you look inside and you see a mostly empty room. And in the light of this very faint green glow, you see a single pedestal. And on the pedestal, what looks like perhaps a shard of glass. And it is emanating this green glow.
What is that? It's green. That's
Does
good.
it match the green of the flames?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just hold my hand with the flame out, not walk too far in, but just hold it out closer towards it. Does it do anything? Does it react?
It feels like it becomes more effortless for you to evoke and wield, and it gets a little bigger.
I think we may have found what happened to, or at least a clue of what happened to the Phoenix. Perhaps it was sealed in here. I'm gonna approach it. If nobody else,
Okay.
Is it fire?
No, it's not fire. It
No, the
looks like
riddle. Is the
glass.
riddle fire?
Oh, no.
Okay.
It would make sense, though. I could totally see that.
Make an investigation or religion check.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here stuck on that riddle.
That does make sense, too, because it's if it was sealed up, it wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
15.
15. Okay. You get the vague sense that maybe Desatrikos was more on the nose when he was talking about the answer being Crom.
Okay.
I thought he was yellow.
Because in lore at least, Crom is the world eater. He eats everything and is never filled. All of the monsters associated with him are associated with the human church's teachings about sin, which is the sin of hunger.
Did you just say something about sandwiches?
No, the sin of hunger.
Yeah, that's
I
why.
had
That's why.
sandwich as well.
Yeah, right before that, I was like, "Well, it is about hunger. Did they have some kind of doctor?"
Yeah, he did not say sandwiches.
I wish.
Thou shalt
I wish I had
not
a
eat
sandwich.
more than one
Swarma.
sandwich
It's
per
all
day.
about the swarma.
Shawarma. Can we get shawarma after this adventure?
All right, so I'm gonna step in, and I'd like to take a look at this thing as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to approach it almost kind of I think it has something to do with the Phoenix, so he's sort of reverently just
I want to try and see what the material is.
Okay.
Part of me is thinking it's, is it the eggshell of the Phoenix? Is that something to do?
Yeah, you said it was glass. Is it? It looks like a broken piece of glass.
It looks like a broken piece of glass. As you approach closer, it looks almost like a broken piece of a gemstone. It looks almost like what Senta has. How Senta has gemstones? Most dwarves have gemstones in this world on their bodies, and their eyes are almost composed of gemstones. It looks almost like that. This one looks like it's made of jade.
So yeah, it was definitely. I say this strongly.
Do you think maybe The phoenix is reborn from an egg, and the egg got shattered before it could be reborn, and we gotta find that piece of the egg and put it back together.
I didn't think that, but that sounds like an
Yes.
incredible journey.
That is
That I'm
a
totally down with.
interesting thought.
I snatch up the piece of eggshell.
Okay. So you touch it, and all of your tattoos explode with green light. And you feel invigorated like you've never felt before.
Really?
And you recover all of your hit points.
This feels amazing! He kind of like bellows. I don't want to blow out people's eardrums.
Be careful with that.
Is it still glowing?
It is still glowing.
What is? I turned to Zanya like, I think this might be part, related to the Phoenix. Like, kind of like.
I
happy
put it
look on
right
my
in
face.
Strahn's face, and you gotta touch this.
I will reach out and touch it as well.
All right,
Okay.
let's go.
When you touch it, you get the effects of a long rest as you see that his hair rises up almost as though it is fire, and he's enveloped in this green fire briefly before it just simmers down, and now it's just faintly glowing in his hand. When Senta touches it, the same thing happens to her, and all of her stones turn green for several minutes instead of black. And then it all dies away and is back to just a little glowing shard in her hand.
I have to protect this.
Does it feel like does the object seem in any way, shape, or form diminished by us touching it?
The object does not seem diminished at all.
Is
I got a crazy idea. What if each one of these rings, there's one of these things underneath of it? We have to visit them all.
That seems like the kind of.
I start counting the rings
Okay.
on the
Okay.
map, even if I have to go back.
So you see 13 rings in total.
Number comes up a lot.
And how big is the piece of jade?
It's about the size of the palm of your hand. Your hand, not their hands.
Oh, so pretty big.
So like a minotaur palm.
So I'm standing there like doing this and trying to figure out what how big I think it would be. And I probably just look ridiculous.
Oh, the Babas.
Aw.
That's buttons.
so. I would, try to assist, Gortham in trying to figure out, what that would entail. Does a piece look like it's a piece of something? Does it look like it's been broken off? I think there's some serious evidence. We might have to go collect these pieces.
That's good. I was really getting stir crazy here, and I don't think we were really accomplishing anything.
I don't think we accomplished anything. We found this underground complex. Piece
No,
of
the
shard
past,
of
not
Phoenix.
that. The past year, we could have did this all in a day, or by lunch.
Well,
Speaking of lunch, anybody else kind of hungry?
I will sort of nod towards Vanya's direction. So, destiny is written in the stars.
She responds in Aslari. It was wise for the Aslari to pay attention to these people. And to you when you came to them.
They need all the help they can get, I say in Islari.
And they are correct. But you do not have 13 places to go. And she pulls out this sack and she dumps out about 6 more pieces that are roughly the same size.
Vanya, or Zanya. Hey. Sorry. I was gonna.
I have
I
been
want to
busy.
climb the green screen.
I have been busy.
Apparently.
I'm glad that the stars led me to you. Then it seems like our paths have aligned correctly. How
And-
long have you known this?
You just confirmed it for me.
So you didn't find these in similar sealed chambers like this?
No. They were all in some sort of sealed place. But not all of them were sealed in a chamber as such. Clearly, that's just the use that these people had for it.
How did you come to know all this? Were you part of the order in the past?
No. But, and she meets your eyes and speaks only in Aslari to you.
Okay.
I am one of the high priests of the Pride, and I hid that from you. Because they sent me here to recover the piece myself. However, if you and your friends will take this quest, I will help you. Because it is written in the stars that the phoenixes must be reborn. And as long as they are not, the world is not as it should be.
I'll say in Islari, oh God, I just totally lost my thought there. Basically that like, I understand, like those kind of squabbles can get sorted out in the future, but there won't be any future if we don't do this. I think, and I'll turn to them and be like, I think we would all agree to find these pieces and put this
Not until you
back together.
translate everything that you guys just said. You do realize that talking in a language no one else speaks is rude, right?
You mean like Dwarven?
I didn't do that. You have a problem with Strawn, not me.
Zanya's been searching for these herself. That's what the stars wrote in her destiny. She just found them in other places, not like this. And I'll sort of like, look over to her as I'm saying this, like,
And if all of that is completely accurate and that is all of the information, then I am inclined to agree wholeheartedly. But there was probably a reason that she was keeping some of this from us, and I want to know what it was.
She's a priestess of my people.
Maybe it was a test.
There's a good degree of mistrust amongst the rest of the world and the Aslari. She wasn't sure how we might take it.
Indeed.
I knew that she was also seeking this. In a sense, she wanted to see what we would do first.
I will take blame in this. Her intentions were not clear, and the look in her eye did not necessarily align with the motivations that she had previously set. So I simply urged in a language I hope she did not understand for my companions to be cautious.
In other words, she was lying first, and we didn't want her to know that we'd caught on.
So
I understand these are troublesome times for all.
And in
I
all
wasn't even
fairness,
sure I
that's
could
the-
trust you.
That's the
when we
least
first
rude
met.
thing Strawn has done. He didn't even call her a murderer or anything.
In all
Side-eye.
fairness, if you had intended to keep the eggshell, I was prepared to shed whatever blood needed to be shed. I will be open and lay myself out on the table. Is that the saying you use? And she looks to
I think we're all on the same.
Desatricos. I am a high
Close enough.
priestess of the Aslari. Yes, our people believe the world would be better if we ruled it. Yes, but if there is no world to rule, it makes no sense to go conquering the other nations.
I think she was
Okay.
just as mistrustful of us.
I feel like the Horde is a bigger problem than you are. just understand we're not going to let you do that. But this is a more pressing issue. We're talking about resurrecting the Phoenix.
Yes, that's what I believe Zanya and our people want as well.
All right, let's do it.
Our paths are aligned. Allow us to do it. And I'll sit there and I'll fiddle with the pieces carefully to see if there's any that actually fit together.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
probably like you're probably like super like intuitive with that, right? Like the rock and all that.
I mean, I like rocks. I'm pretty wise.
That's yeah. Probably like feeling along the edge, like oh yeah.
I will allow you to hold these pieces as a sign of goodwill. For now, our stars are aligned. When they conflict, then we will handle it from there.
Sounds like a plan.
So, do each of these things still have that greenish glow? I mean, do they all feel the same energy?
Yep.
Now, I was going to ask the question before 6 more pieces dropped in our laps. Is any of the sensation of touching this spark of, working with or taking in mana?
No, it's not, because this isn't made of mana.
Okay.
But you do get a strong magical sense from it.
So I will, like I said, I'll try and fiddle with the pieces and see if there's things that actually look like they would fit together.
Okay. You can pretty easily find that they do, but it seems that without all of the pieces, they won't stay together.
Right. Yeah. I expected that, but I wanted the confirmation of.
You're just trying to see if any of them.
Yeah.
If that was.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they do fit together into a roughly egg shape.
Nice.
Who would seal this in this place though? It's like beneath our own keep.
Well, your order sealed the Phoenix once to use it. Whether it agreed or not is not the question.
Are you saying the Order of the Phoenix sort of kept the Lotus kept it against its will to use its power?
I do not know, and frankly speaking, I don't think it matters at this point. Your order killed her
Yes.
and apparently shattered her egg.
The mural we saw on the way here seemed to suggest that perhaps
Not say
they
it
had a
was-
different intention.
I would not say it was our order. It was
No.
those who came before. The order as it stands now is only those seeking to improve the world.
Well, then I think this is the perfect place to make that oath to each other. As we go forward, we won't keep this power sealed away or try to manipulate it.
How long ago was it that the Phoenix was killed?
I think it was just a year ago, wasn't it?
It was 100 years ago.
Okay.
So, for the last 100 years, while there might be some people in power that were a part of the scenario, as it stands now, it's us and anyone else that, might be lingering out there. They're either a part of what we seek to do or they're in a separate sect. And I'm not really concerned. We need to improve the world. We need to restore it to the way nature intended.
The way it was written in the stars.
Precisely. And seeing as my armies are much bigger than your armies, I have no qualms about remaining here to train any recruits you send my way. After all, if we are to do battle one day, it will not be glorious if it is a slaughter. Am I right?
Well, at least you have some sense of fair play about it.
That's a dance to be done on another day.
Indeed, I think Gorthan had the best idea for right now.
Send the recruits into the wilderness to die?
No, get lunch.
Oh, yes, that one. Do that one.
That's the
We will all
second
do
best
that.
idea.
I don't know about the rest of you, but after making contact with this crystal, sitting down to eat, it seems like so much wasted energy. I'm gonna go.
We can eat on the move.
That might be the better of it.
Well, we should study that map. Maybe the places where Zanya found those pieces, if we could check those off the list, basically, of which rings they're near, we'll know which ones to check next.
That is fair. And she begins checking them off. She starts muttering about which contact the Aslari have that provided each one. You know that one of the pieces was provided by a lady named Jakira in an elvish ruin. And that is significant for anybody that watches Quill and Sword. And,
I like that.
And she marks off 6 of the 13 locations.
Okay, nice. So she had 6, or this one that we just found is the 6th piece?
This is the 7th.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, cool.
Was any of those places where the Silver Chapel was?
One of them is where the Silver Chapel was.
Cool.
So, obviously we're not going to take down this map, but if we can take down the locations, and put the information in a book and say where we don't need to visit.
Does the keep have maps? Is there a
Mhm.
library or something?
There is.
Maybe we can't find this exact map, but maybe we can find a similar map, and we can draw our own rings.
It is a little bit destroyed at the moment, but you do have a library that's still functional and definitely has a world map somewhere in it that you can salvage.
Maybe we should hire a cartographer.
You do know that you now have a choice to make. So functionally, basically, I'm going to let you all choose, and I'm going to end up sending you a list of the places later. But currently, your first 2 choices are to go to the mountain halls of the dwarves, or to go to the mountain heights of the minotaurs.
Ooh. I was actually going to suggest we go back to the ring where I was before and see where it takes us.
Oh, just jump in it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you guys want to do that?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So, that ring,
I'm gonna
when you approach it, I presume you're going first?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely go first.
Okay. So, if you touch the ring, you feel this rush followed by a sense of needing a direction or purpose. If you think about the Silver Chapel, you find yourself and you are now in that chamber you were in where you got sent away.
So Gortham will think about, so he was talking about lunch before coming to the ring.
Mhm.
And do any of those places on the map strike him as a place where you'd want to go to eat?
in the entire place, right?
Well,
Home
one
cooking,
of them
man.
one of them is a village near your hometown, so you could get some home cooking. And pretty much every race is known for some sort of food. It's just a question of what you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
But
Mama Gortham. What's Mama Gortham famous for cooking?
Oh, she makes the best mutton stew you could possibly have.
of
Nothing but
note,
mutton, and that's the way we likes it.
Shit.
you do see that like this chamber you're in is conspicuously not dark anymore and is open to the sky way overhead, and there's a big ring just over it.
So we're back at that Silver Abbey place?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And basically you just have to stand under it and think about where you want to go.
Was it like scary or disconcerting or anything, or like instant, or was it just like we were there and then we're, you feel a sensation and then you're somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's basically just you feel like you're being consumed by fire or burned alive,
Oh,
and then you're suddenly
it.
there. Yeah.
That's all.
It's excruciating and then exhilarating, and then you're there.
Okay.
Love
It's
that.
like a less drawn out version of flying, in my opinion. But yeah, so the rest of you just saw Gortham vanish into this ring, his form distorted, and then whoom, he was gone. And there was like a clap of thunder where he was.
Last thing you hear him say, I could go for some mutton.
Okay. Is he? Did we just watch Gartham die?
I don't think so.
They carried us safely through the first time, and then I'll go.
Okay, where are you thinking about?
Mutton.
Mutton.
That's all I heard him say.
Okay, so and you find yourself standing right next to Gortham in Silver Abbey. While you guys may have already gotten the eggshell from here, you can also get some mutton from here. And for the first time this campaign, we will end on a nice note and not a cliffhanger.
Excellent.
Probably also the last time in this campaign if Quill and Sword is anything to go off of, but
I mean, fair. You got to have a calm before a storm, Robin. Come on.
sus.
Well, I want to thank everyone for playing, especially Steven for running, and thank all of you fine folk for hanging out with us. And we will be back here next week to continue Ashes of Ardor. So until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Nerdy.